Welcome back to a new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, I'll be talking to you about the pros and cons of working as a freelancer and also compared to a full-time job. I'll start with the advantages of freelancing. Now, I've been actually doing freelancing for almost like 3 years now, and I'm really loving it. But I really realized this year that there's huge disadvantages that I was not aware of. And it's only when I was speaking with some family, friends, and my managers at work that I realized that these disadvantages are also affecting me. Now I'll begin by first talking about the advantages of actually working in a freelancing job or working as a freelancer, and then I'll move into the disadvantages. And the reason for that is because there's actually a lot of disadvantages that are only caused due to some of the mismanagement of the advantages. Now, the first thing that I want to mention in the advantages is actually the flexible time arrangements that you can do and stick by. I have the choice, 100% freedom, to choose when to actually work and when to put myself on a holiday. This is great and it works really well, because if I get 10 projects and I finish them and now I'm a little bit tired, I can just choose to work less, or I can choose to take less jobs, or even stop taking work in general. And that's a huge advantage that I don't think you'll be able to get working as a full-timer, because whatever you're assigned, whatever hours you have, you can't get outside of those hours. So flexibility is a key, and you don't get penalized for taking any time off. The second thing is choice of which projects to work on. Unlike working in a full-time job or working for someone else, whatever project they give you, you will have to do. But working as a freelancer, if you simply don't want to work on websites anymore, or you don't want to create apps, or you want to work on a very specific niche, you can just accept those jobs that come to you and decline any of them that you don't want. And this really helps you choose which projects to work on, and maybe just suit yourself and go with whatever you would like to work on. Something else is just easier to specialize when you're freelancing. Again, because of that last thing that I just mentioned, you can always keep on specializing and picking specific projects that are harder for some other people to do, and that way you're really specializing yourself in that specific theme of projects. For example, I tend to do projects that are related to NFC programming. People come to me because I have a lot of experience working with NFC tags. I can create other websites and create other kinds of apps, but I think that NFC projects are just easy for me to do, and they're very niched, and so I specialized in NFC programming. Finally, the last thing is actually being able to keep up to date without putting too much effort. And what I mean by that is that many people will come to you with their own ideas, their own projects, their own technologies, and ask you if you can use them to create an idea or to develop an app that they would want. And this is really good, because that means you get to also learn about these technologies, you get to learn about those programming languages or ideas, and you also get to see just how other people around the world get to think and actually get to put their projects into real life. So this is very important. And you also get a lot of business ideas and a lot of just knowledge on how other people manage their own businesses from A to Z, because you're always going to be part of that. Now I'm just going to speak about some of the disadvantages, which are actually a lot. And notice how I didn't mention money yet. And that's because I would actually put that in the disadvantages. So let's get started with that. The first thing with the disadvantages, and one of the biggest ones that people don't actually take, or people maybe underestimate, is that there's no annual leave or any sort of benefits when you work, or like company benefits, when you're actually working as a freelancer. You can't just continue getting paid while you're not working. If you stop working, you will be paying for the holiday that you're going on, or the food that you're eating, or whatever it is, activity that you're doing, but you're also going to be technically paying for every hour that you're spending not working. Let's say you get $50 an hour when you're freelancing, or maybe you get $1,000 per project. Well, every minute that you spend not working on that project, you're basically wasting or spending that money that you could have been getting working for that project, which makes things really hard, because now you're really struggling to balance your life and your work, which is another disadvantage for working as a freelancer. People message you all the time. If you're working at a company, maybe your boss will not message you after 5, or maybe they will, but you can and have the choice not to reply until the next morning. As a freelancer, this gets really out of scope here. People message you a crazy amount of times, and if you don't reply, they will simply double, triple, and quadruple question mark you until you respond, because they feel like they've paid for it. And that's understandable. But when you've got 10, 5, or even just 3 customers at the same time from different time zones, it gets really difficult. People sometimes message me at 5 a.m., 1 a.m., or just 12 p.m. And even though sometimes I can be awake or not awake, it's really hard to just always be on it and reply to people, especially because the questions are usually technical questions that will require you to research some stuff as well. I can be eating at a restaurant and someone's just keep on pinging me, asking me why their website is no longer working. Even if it has nothing to do with what I'm doing for them, they see that you are the tech guy basically in their life now, and they will feel free to throw anything at you. And it feels good feeling being wanted and being needed, but at the same time, it's really hard to balance that life, and it can get really exhausting. Another disadvantage is that, and it's a huge one, is that you actually end up being stopped from doing your own ideas and your own hobbies. I would never be able to do as much YouTube videos if I keep getting this much clients from freelancing. In fact, I'm starting to reduce them because I realized that I'm slowly reducing my hobbies, reducing any free time for me to make videos or even work on ideas that I have that I think are good ideas, but I just don't have the time to do them because I'm working on someone else's idea. And that is a huge disadvantage because now you're limiting yourself as if you're doing a full time job, but you're not getting all the benefits from doing a full time job and you're still just being disadvantaged. So, even though the money is great in freelancing, it can really tie you down from never using that money properly or getting really stingy because you know how much time you spent on each single dollar. For the end of this video, I just want to explain that working as a freelancer is great. You make a lot of money. You get sometimes, if you're strong enough to choose when to leave and when to stop working, and you also get to deal with people all over the world. But those same advantages, if you don't deal with them properly and if you don't think about it properly and be firm on when you're working, when you're stopping working, and just being able to tell customers, that's it, I can't take no more projects. If you can't do these things, then it will be a huge disadvantage to work as a freelancer. So if you're someone who thinks you can manage freelancing and at the same time balance your life and be able to say no to getting money, I think you should do freelancing. Otherwise, if you feel like you'll fall in the rabbit hole of always accepting every single project because you really need the money, I think it can actually end up causing so many disadvantages, not just to your well being, but also to your mental health and just your socializing and other opportunities for you because you're always stuck and so narrow minded on getting that extra $150 or 1000 or whatever it is that you make per project. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please make sure you do leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know if I'm wrong about anything, or let me know your opinion on whether freelancing is good, whether it's bad, whether you have any techniques or tricks on how you actually manage your work and life balance. Thanks so much for watching again, and see you in the next episode.